Hello everyone, it's time for a new prompt in the Facebook group, the Mixed Media Emporium. For anybody who wants to follow along with this month-long challenge, I'll leave the link to the Facebook group in the description box below for you, but please be aware that all posts must be related to either our past or present prompts. The prompt for this month is Boho, and as usual, Kylie and I will be sharing weekly videos giving you ideas as to how the prompt can be interpreted in different ways. Now, I am going to be making some boho tags today. I've got 3 tags that I've cut from food packaging. This was from pulled pork with barbecue sauce. This is really nice, thick, sturdy cardboard packaging. You could use cereal boxes, anything like that for your tag bases. You could even use chipboard tags if you've got them in your stash if you want to. I'm just going for cardboard today. Now I have pulled out a pile of boho style fabrics. These are Sari fabrics that I have purchased from a company called Love Me Blue, who are based here in the UK but do ship internationally. I've checked Annie's channel and she is still shipping things out for as long as she can during the coronavirus crisis as well. But I've just got here a wonderful mixture of Sari trims and fabrics. These are the beaded ones. I'll leave the link, as I say, to Annie's shop in the description box below. I've also got a mixture of different types of velvets. I can't remember whether I got these from Annie or not, although I do think I did. So I've got some of these in just the most gorgeous fabrics. There is also a shop where I live in Worcester locally that sells all the Indian fabrics as well, so you may see me pull out stuff that I've had from there as well. But to give you other ideas as to things that you could use if you don't have this kind of thing in your stash, I've got a piece of batik fabric. In fact, I've got a couple of pieces of batik. This is one that I had from the Asian shop locally, as is this one here. And then I thought these fabrics had kind of a boho kind of style as well, and these are just ones that I've just pulled out of my stash. This is a pack that I bought ages and ages ago from Hobbycraft. I think it was on clearance after Christmas. So, you know, just use whatever you have. I will also be using some of these papers here. I've got this Eastern Opulence, which is a Doocrafts Paper Mania pad. I just love this. Now, I do believe that Doocrafts has just in March gone out of business, but I've checked and these are still available, but be quick. Because they are no more. I've also got this Eastern Influences paper pack that you saw me use a couple of weeks ago for a project as well. And this is by a company called Craft Consortium. And again, if you Google Craft Consortium, you'll find the link to this pack here. They've got some beautiful papers in their collections. Not just you know, this kind of style, woodland styles, all sorts. But that's what I'm going to be using for today's project. So I want to go through this pile of beautiful fabrics here and just pick out 3 trims that take my fancy, and then I want to marry them up with some coordinating trims. This one here is really calling to me. I've got a thing about bead dangles, and that one there is just absolutely gorgeous, so that is a possibility. I also love that, so that one's another possibility that I could team it up with. I absolutely love that. That is gorgeous. I love the purple one as well. This one here I just think is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm just pulling out the ones that are speaking to me at the moment, just so that I can then narrow it down. You see, that one goes really well with that there, so I'm going to stick that over there as well. Those two together look really nice. So that's what I've got so far. Does that one go as well? So I'm going to choose those and see if I can find some trims to go with it. Okie dokie, a decision has been made on the first one. I'm going to start off with this beautiful turquoise trim. I just absolutely love that. And I've picked out this Sari fabric here as well, which was just in the bag that I got from the Asian shop locally. So I'm going to start off by decorating the back of the pad. I've pulled out this piece of paper here. Now, it's from the 12 by 12 version of this pack here. So if I can find it, where is it? I just thought that the colours, the pink colours, just went absolutely beautifully. Of course, I'm not going to be able to find it now, am I? There it is. It's that one there. But of course, it's pulling out the pink in the trim and the turquoise from that as well, and all the gold. So this is what I'm going to use. Let me just grab a piece of deli paper because I am just going to use a glue stick, and I might add a tiny bit of 3-in-1 as well. So I'm going to apply glue stick all over the edge. Only reason I'm applying 3-in-1 as well to this is because it's got a kind of shiny surface. I could have roughed it up if I'd wanted it to, but I'm hoping that the glue will hold it down in place. So we'll do that. In fact, actually, I might use my tacky glue. Because of coronavirus, I've ordered some glue, but it's coming from Europe and it's not going to be here until the end of April. So I'm trying to preserve what I've got because I've only got one tube left. So I am going to use this glue here, which is Tonic Studios tacky glue. Let me just try and let me just grab a pin just to unclog the end. There we go. And so we'll add a bit of this as well. I don't like using these types of glue when I'm working with paper because they do have a tendency to make things curl. But if I just use a small amount around the edges, that should be fine. So we'll just do this and a bit in the middle as well. This just does not want to come out. There we go. That should do it. And then I'm just going to move that out of the way. Turn my paper over. Is there an upside down way? I think it goes. Let's have a look. I think it's that way up. So I'm just going to apply it straight to my paper here. I'm leaving a bit of a border. I would rather cut around the edges, and I'm going to weight that down for a second or two with a heavy book. So that's the back stuck down, and I've used my bone folder as well just to make sure, especially around the edges, that that's nice and firmly stuck. I've weighted it down under a heavy book as well. Now I want to attach this to the bottom, but you can see that it's cut here on one edge, and so I'm just going to take that to my rotary trimmer and just trim myself a nice straight edge before we glue anything else down. Now, isn't it funny when you're playing around with things how you can just change track? I had fully intended to have this on the back, but I just love the way that those two go together. I just think that's absolutely beautiful. I was going to have that above there and find some kind of focal image, but I think I'm going to do it the other way around and maybe have the fabric on the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the fabric down to the other side first. This fabric, whoops daisy, I've just knocked the camera, is polyester, so I'm going to have to be careful. And what I'm going to do is apply my glue to the back here and stick that down to the fabric. So I'm going to use Fabri-Tac to do that because glue stick, well, in fact, what I'll do is I'll use glue stick first because that will give me some wiggle room. So we'll definitely apply a layer of glue. Glue stick is better than you think it is, especially this Scotch one. It's a bit gloopy, but it's permanent, and I've never had anything come unstuck. So my glue stick of choice for sure. So we'll do that, and then I'm going to apply a good layer of 3-in-1 as well. So we'll do that. Add that. It's funny, isn't it, coronavirus, how it's had an effect on, you know, bringing goods in from abroad, from the EU, stuff that we rely on. So things are in sort of, you know, short supply. So we're having to be more frugal. I think actually it's teaching many of us a very valuable lesson. We've got to see the positives in this situation, haven't we? Now, as usual, I'm just going to use my finger just to smooth the glue out like this. I'm going to do the same with that because I don't want any ridges and lumps and bumps. Move that out of the way and then apply my tag to the fabric. Let's try and find a place without too many creases on it. This will do. We can flatten it out anyway. So I'm just going to stick that down like that. Pull it out straight. Now, before I weight it down, I'm just going over the other side, just with my bone folder, just to get rid of any creases that I might have, and just to help with the adhesion, just like this. And I'm going to weight that down. Fabri-Tac dries incredibly quickly. There we go. So my fabric's glued down, and I did end up taking this to the ironing board as well. And I just popped a piece of deli paper, you could use parchment paper, over the top of the fabric, and then I just ironed it on a medium heat. So that's now firmly stuck. So of course that was my intention, to glue that down like that, which is beautiful. Let me just make sure I'm in camera shot. But this was my second idea, just because I loved that so much, and I'm still thinking that just looks absolutely gorgeous. So what shall we do now? Now I just need to make a mark. Let me just grab a pencil. It's at that line where I need my glue to go, so I'm just going to use my ruler and make a mark. This is a Stabilo pen, just a pencil, just so that you can see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to take my piece of deli paper, and again I'm just going to apply the glue. Where's my glue stick gone? To the piece of paper, and pop the fabric on top, just because I think that's going to be much easier than applying glue to the fabric and doing it the other way round. So again, just making sure I've got plenty on the edges. Again, I'm going to take, that's an empty one. Where's the one with glue in it? So I'm taking my 3-in-1 as well. Get rid of the gunk at the edges. And again, I'm just going to apply some glue all around the edge, like this, and in the centre. And again, I'm just going to spread that out with my finger. Like that. And then I'm going to grab another piece of deli paper. Here we go. And I'm going to lay my fabric out like this. I'm just going to hold it with my hand to make sure that that's straight, and I'm going to attach it down like that, and I'm just going to hold it in place. In fact, well, I'll probably hold this in place actually with some clips. Let's do that. Got some bulldog clips. Here we go. Let's grab some slightly bigger ones, because I just think that will be better. Make sure that we wrap that over like that. And again, I'm just going to grab another bulldog clip and hold that down like that. Now, I'm not worried about the seam here, because I can pop something else down to disguise that, but I just think that's going to look absolutely beautiful. So that's glued down properly now, and so I'm just going to trim the edges, and I'm fully expecting that some of the beads might come pinging off, but you know, that's just the way it goes. I know that I'm going to get some fraying around the edges, and you know, that's okay. That's not too bad actually. And we'll do the same here as well. Isn't that gorgeous? That's really pretty. So I just need to find something now to just go over that area there. I've pulled out a couple of different trims that will do the job for this. We could go for plain ribbon like this. Both of those look really pretty. I've also got this one here as well. That's gorgeous, although I think that's too yellow. That's the wrong shade of gold, so we'll say no to that one. I've also got this gorgeous trim. I just absolutely love how that looks. And I've got this one here as well. And And I just think this might add another touch of pink just to tie in with the pink there. I think I'm going to use that one. It's that one there or that one there that are my favourites. No, I'm going to go for this one here. So again, I'm just going to apply a small amount of glue right along this line here and stick it down. Now this is just a background. I need to find some kind of focal image, and I want to do the other backgrounds first before I decide what focal image I'm going to use. So let's just stick that on, and again I'm just going to have to weight that down for a minute or two until the glue grabs, and then trim around the edges. Isn't that pretty? So that's my first tag background done. I just love how that looks. Now I'm going to do exactly the same with the next tag, and it's this paper here that I'm going to cover the back of my tag with, and then these are the fabrics that I've decided to team together on the front. I just love those. So of course the paper here, which is from the Craft Consortium pack, this one here just picks out the gorgeous reds and pink tones in there, and of course this picks out the orange. And so I'm going to glue these on in the same way as I did here, and as soon as I've got to that point I shall be right back. So that's that one finished. I just absolutely love it as well. It's beautiful, but because I've got my danglies on this one here, this one now looks unfinished to me anyway. Now I've got some green trim which just matches absolutely beautifully, so I could either leave that like that, or I've got this green trim as well. Now the gold here, the greeny gold, is just completely the wrong colour, but I am toying with the idea. Let me just see if I can show you, of putting that there like that, and then popping the green over the top. Oh, we've just lost a sequin. So I have that over there like that. I'm not sure. It's not going to lie flat enough. I'm just going to stick with this one here, I think. So I am just going to put a bead of glue along the bottom here. I might be able to sew some beads on afterwards or something. I don't know. I might make some charms. So we'll put bead of Fabri-Tac just in that gap there like that, and then I'm just going to stick this down, make sure I've got it in the right place, and I'm just going to make sure that I hold that down for a second or two until the glue grabs. Isn't that pretty? I just love that, and I just love how these look gorgeous from the back as well. I'll show you what the other one looks like in a second. And then I need to put my third colour combination together. Well, that's finished that off absolutely beautifully. I'm really pleased with that. That's how it looks from the back as well. Now, I just want to mention, when I made this one, I glued the orange fabric down first, so that the wide trim here, this is just a wide border trim, covered the seam, so I don't need to add sort of any extra trim like I had to on this one. So we now have I need to decide what colour combination I'm going to use for my third. So tag number 3 is going to be these two pieces of fabric here, and I'm going to team these up with this piece of paper. And again, if I can find it, it's from the 12 by 12 pad, and it's the Eastern Opulence by Do Crafts Paper Mania. So that's what I'm going to use for that. This is just so much fun. So this is my yellow and green tag, and I just love it. Now, some of the sequins are being a bit problematic, so I'm just going around the edge just with some Anita's 3D Gloss Gel. Glossy Accents will do the same thing, and this will dry clear and just hold these in place and just stop them pinging off at the edge. So whoops daisy, I'm just going all the way around like this. So that's that. And then I need to decide on a piece of trim just for the middle, just to hide the seam. And so I've pulled out this piece of trim again. It's just absolutely perfect. So there we go. That was meant to be, wasn't it? So I'm just going to apply some 3-in-1 across the seam here like this. And we'll just just add that just to hide the untidy bits. There we go. So have I got enough with sequins left just to stick that on there like that? I think I have, and I'm just going to again weight that down with a heavy book. Now I've finished this one off by adding some of this trim here, and you'll see that because I've got all of these seed beads on here, it was just too bumpy to add it to the front, so I've just added it to the back instead. And I just think that looks absolutely beautiful. So here are my 3 tag bases finished. Now I want to ink around the edges, especially this one here. It just looks a bit too clean. And then I just want to add the focal images and decide what I want to do with the top. So I'm going to use my Memento ink in espresso truffle. So I'm just going to ink around it just to grunge it up a bit like this. I like how that looks. So I'm going to do this to all of them, and as soon as I've done that I shall be back. I'm going to do it on the back as well. My tags are inked up and I just love the way that those look. Much better. They look lovely on the back as well. That's grunged them up a little bit. And I've got my focal images sorted as well. Now, these are free downloads from the Graphics Fairy, www.graphicsfairy.com, I do believe. And if you key in vintage Gypsy ladies, she's got, I think, 20 or 15, something like that, loads of these Gypsy images for you to download. I also tried printing these out on my phone memo because I did toy with the idea of doing them in black and white, but they were just a bit too big for some of them, and I just wanted the colours to coordinate with the tags as well. So these are my images. Now again, I am just going to ink around the edges of these. I'm just using the ink that's still left on the sponge. I'll do this with all of them, and then I need to find some coordinating papers or fabrics or something to mount them on. So that's how my images are looking, much better now that they've been inked around the edges. These are just mounted on 300 GSM cardstock. I printed them out on plain copy paper and just mounted them onto cardstock and then trimmed around the edges. So, you know, that, as I say, has given them some stability. Now I've pulled out some gold paper. This is some gold paper that I picked up in the scrap store a long time ago. And I'm pretty sure it's either margarine paper or even, I don't know, cigarette liners or something like that. I don't know, but it's, I don't know whether you can see, it's just got a lovely texture to it. I've rounded the edges and trimmed it to a size so that everything fits. I've also got some gorgeous lace as well. Now this was given to me by my friend Josie Gitto. We did a swap last year and she gave me some beautiful lace. Her sister, I think it is, has a bridal shop and gives Josie all the leftover lace, and she sent me a load of it. It's just absolutely beautiful, and I just think this will look really nice layered. Now at the moment the lace is just too white, so I'm going to tea stain it, but first of all what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the edge of this gold paper as well, in the same way that I've done with my focal images. So I'll do that with all of them. I've got some gold cut out for each of the images, so you know, I'll go around that just to grunge it up a bit, and then I am going to as I say, tea stain the lace. Let me just move everything else out of the way so that I don't end up in a horrible mess. Now I brewed a tea bag and I've decanted it into a bottle which I've misplaced. Let me just try and find it. Here we go. So I just made one tea bag in a small amount of hot water and decanted it into one of these cheap spray bottles from China, and I'm just going to spray my lace just to colour it. It's just too white and just doesn't go with everything else. So I think this will be much better. And then I'm just going to have to set this aside to dry. What I'll probably do is dab it on a piece of kitchen towel and then gently dry it with my heat tool. Be careful though, because I don't know whether this is cotton or what it is, and I don't want anything to shrink. I presume this is 100% cotton. It's just beautiful, beautiful quality lace. So I'm just going to dab that in the excess on here and go and dry it. Isn't that beautiful? It's just gorgeous, and it's taking on sort of like a gold tone as well to tie in with all the gold that's already on the tags from the Sari fabric. So here are my little focal image embellishment clusters. I just love how these have turned out, and the lace has just tea-dyed absolutely beautifully. Now what I'm going to do, let me just take one at a time. What I want to do, let me just grab a piece of deli paper. I want to glue the main focal image straight onto the lace. You'll see why I'm doing it this way round in a second. So I'm just going to apply plenty of glue on here like this, making sure that I've got plenty round the edges. I shall smooth this out with my finger as well, because I want this to attach well. So there we go, and I'm going to stick that down to the lace. Let's make sure I get it the right way up and centralize it as best as I can, and then I'm just going to weight that down with a heavy book. Doesn't have to be exactly perfect. There we go, because then I just want the lace just to be free at the edges. I don't want that stuck down flat to the gold textured paper, so I will only apply glue in the center of that there. In fact, let's do it now. So I'm just going to apply glue just to the center here, and then I shall weight this down with a heavy book, and I'll do exactly the same method with the others as well. I've only got about half a thing of 3-in-1 left. Oh my gosh, how will I survive without it? So again, I'm just going to stick that down. I shall put a clean piece of deli paper on there and just stick a heavy book on top. Okie dokie, so everything is glued down. That's what my embellishment clusters look like. And before I glue these down onto the tags, I want to make some tab tops. I've got some fabrics here. I've got this one, which I thought would go really well with this tag here. So we've got that. I've also got a piece of fabric that came in a scrap bag from Love Me Blue, which I thought would go really well with this one here. So I think that will go on that one. And then what did I have for this one here? I've got this trim for this one here. Which way round does that go? That way round. Now what I want to do is just tidy up the edges. Let me just move those out of the way and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm just going to trim across there like that. Grab a piece of deli paper, and I'm just going to sew myself or glue myself a very fine hem, just so that things don't fray and unravel. So I'm going to do this to two ends of all of these pieces of trim. So let's just, oh, hang on a second. I've got gunk on my glue again. So I'm just going to apply some glue like this. Now, Love Me Blue have got loads of the Sari fabrics. Sheila Gingerich as well has been selling lots of these types of trims in her shop. This is another trim that I got from my local Asian store in Worcester. But as I say, Sheila, I know, has been selling a lot recently. I don't know whether she's got any left. eBay as well, I know, have all of these kind of trims, and they're, you know, relatively inexpensive as well. And I know that lots of you have already got them anyway. So, you know, this is just a great way of using them up. So that's what I'm going to do. And then let's have a look. So this one was going to go on this tag here. So I just need to decide how long I want that to be. So I think I'm going to trim that halfway down to that flower there, and do exactly the same on the other side. And as I say, this will just stop everything fraying and unraveling, and just, you know, keeps everything nice and neat. You know, in this respect, I'm a neat freak. If you could see my craft room right now, you wouldn't think so. It looks like a bomb's hit it. It was tidy first thing this morning, because I had a major tidy up the other day, but it now looks as if a bomb has hit it. But you know, that's crafting for you, isn't it? So I'm just going to hold that down for a minute or two, and I'm going to do exactly the same with the other trims as well. So of course, when that goes down onto my tag, it will all be nice and neat. So my tabs are dry, and I need to stick these down. Which one shall I do first? Right, okay. I'm going to just apply a small amount of glue just along the rims of all of these, like this. And then I want to centralize it. I want to make sure that I've got that fairly even. And that's going to go on there like that. And again, I'm just going to have to hold this down until the glue grabs. So my tabs are all glued on. I just love how those look. That's just, you know, really finished the tops off. I just think it looks beautiful. And because this one's fabric, if it frays around the edges, even better. So I just need to add my focal images now, and they're going to go on there just like this. Now I changed my mind regarding the glue in the end, and decided to use some sticky pads, just because I don't know whether you can see, this is now quite dimensional because of the tab where it's been folded over. So I've applied the glue and just left a gap here so that will slot in. Now this one here, because this is thinner fabric, the bulk is here, so I've applied a small bit and just left myself a gap there, so that will fit nice and snugly. And the same with this one here. So I'm just going to peel these off and stick them down. I might add a tiny bit of Fabri-Tac to this as well, because I don't want this coming unstuck at a later date, and I don't know how permanent these are, so that's what I'm going to do. So here are my finished boho tags, and I really do look forward to seeing how everybody else decides to interpret the boho prompt this month. I have had a huge amount of fun putting these together and just pulling out, you know, bits and bobs from my stash. You don't have to use fabrics, you can use paints. You know, boho is such a versatile prompt. You don't have to do tags either, you know, just really put your stamp on this. Now I will leave the link to Annie's shop in the description box below. She has a shop and sells things via lovemeblue.co.uk. She does ship internationally, and I know that she's still shipping during the coronavirus. There is also a lady called Sheila Gingerich, who many of you will be familiar with, that has a Facebook group called Boho Daydreams. I do believe that's the name of her YouTube channel as well. And I know that she's been selling you know, similar trims to the ones that I've used today. So do go and check her out as well. I'll leave her link in the description box below as well. She's based in the US, I do believe, but just use whatever you have. The Gypsy images came from the graphics fairy. I forgot the name for a second, and these were free downloadable images as well. But I do hope that you've enjoyed today's project, and if you did, as always, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. Do let me know what you think in the comments below, and take care everyone, stay safe, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.